University Pathways, IB Continuing Evening. So, in 20-minute session, I will be sort of essentially the first 15 minutes will be taken in terms of considering why is the IB, or presenting the idea of why the IB is the best pathway to university, looking at some of the university options that have already students have already chosen at Dwight in the last 12 months. And then if you have any questions, we'll have the last 5 minutes for that. So there's a few sort of amusing pictures. These are all related to what I believe are the 5 top reasons as to why the IB is the most proficient and best adapted curriculum for university. The first one, the gerbil fiddling with his pencil, is talking about academic breadth. Now, in the IB, you study 6 subjects opposed to what you would do in terms of A-level, which would be 3 or 4. Now, that, as you can see here, means that from the recent higher education statistics, IB graduates were more likely to be enrolled at one of the top 20 worldwide institutions than entrants holding any other qualifications. So that was a worldwide, looking at Common Core, looking at the French Baccalaureate, A levels, the IB Leaving Cert, Scottish Highers, whole variety. So that was taking into account that there's the academic breadth means that the top institutions are more accessible. My second belief, there you have someone diligently scrolling through their essay. It creates a sense of independence. Every DP graduate will have written or will write a thing called an extended essay. It is a core part of the diploma, the head of essentially the 6th form, and it is an immersive research paper of up to 4,000 words. The 2011 survey of university admission staff from Cardiff University found they valued the E's role in developing cognitive research, writing, and communication skills. You can, for example, there is a similar scheme in terms of A-levels, but very, very few A-level students take that up. And what this means is that when a student gets to university, as Ben will hopefully one day in a number of years, it means that suddenly the task of writing 4,000 words is not something new. It's something that he has already done, and something that he'll be able to go, oh, I remember doing this in part of the IB. Let me try and think about how I can use that experience to make sure that when I do it again, I use those skills and do it as best as I can. Point number 3 is that someone very excited about university. It's the recognition that universities across the world have. So there you go. So IB graduates are 21.4% more likely to be admitted into one of the country's top, or should be world's top most prestigious universities, including Harvard, Princeton, and Cambridge. So there's a higher proportion of, in terms of any curriculum, at one of the top institutions. And also a number of US colleges actually give students credit. So they sort of amass a certain amount of credit if they've done a certain amount of courses in the IB. And if they've done particularly well, it means that they can actually don't necessarily have to do quite the same level of courses they would do if they were just entering as a normal freshman. Point 4, there we go, the favourite bear, Winnie the Pooh. It's the importance of critical thinking. Throughout the IB, students have to learn beyond the facts. Inquisitiveness and interpretation among the key cognitive properties of an IB education. And I think that's a very important element of the IB. And then finally, we've got a little dog playing with his clock. It's the importance of time management. Given the fact that the students will study 6 subjects, they'll also have the extended essay, and as well as that, CAS, which is called Community Action Service, so the necessity of them working within the community. It means that all that rigorous independent study leads to organizational techniques that are imperative at university. Good study habits create learners who hit the ground running in higher education. Now, that was all well and good, but what are the current pathways for Dwight students? Well, they sound a bit cliche, but essentially it depends wherever the best choice is for that student. In the graduating cohorts that I've had for the last 3 years, there's been around 30 students. Now, within that 30 students, there is very much a personalized journey for each one of them, whether in terms of what they're applying for, where they're applying for in terms of institution, and also which country they're applying for. Now, this is really quite important because the vast majority of our applicants do apply to the UK, being obviously a school in London, and the majority of our students having some form of UK links, either being family from the UK or coming to Dwight with the ambition of studying in the UK. Now, it's important to think about there are 370 universities and colleges just in the United Kingdom. So there's 5 in Northern Ireland, 20 in Wales, 21 in Scotland, and then 334 in England. One in mainland Europe as well, interestingly, from the UCAS. Now, there's 37,000 courses. Now, if you're going to be able to pick your way through the amount of choice, these are when the skills of research, of critical thinking, and also using your own time become incredibly important. So we have, the way that I've done it is that each student has a meeting with me in the start of their first year of sixth form. We talk about some of their goals for university, talk about areas that they can improve. So if they do want to study mechanical engineering, is there an online course they can do? Can they, for example, is there a particular book that's outside the curriculum they can read? This is always getting them to think about how they can bolster their application to university. But we don't have just applicants applying to the UK. Here is a hastily created little map of where all the students have applied or are applying this year and last year. So bear in mind, we only had about last year 26 students in our graduating cohort. We did have 6 apply to the United States, 2 to Canada, 3 to Japan, and 1 even applied to a medical school in Latvia. We also had, for this year, we've got someone looking to apply to Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, and Denmark. So there's a real sort of really truly internationalism, breaking away from sort of the stranglehold, and also Republic of Ireland, from the stranglehold of sort of just thinking in the bounds of the UK. So that's sort of there. As an example, I've got a little IB poster which I can show you here. I won't read that out, but this is something that you can very much. There you go. Yeah. So you can see here. These are further 10 reasons why the IB believes that they are very much an applicable university curriculum that's very applicable for university. Some of which I've sort of said, both in terms of internationalism, breadth of learning, time management skills, and a variety of other elements there. So that is the end of the presentation.